The minister's ledger. In government accounting, every number tells a story. Some stories build nations, others bury them. This is the story of how $4.2 billion meant to change lives vanished, and a forensic accountant who risked hers to find out where it went. The audit begins. It began quietly with a memo. The Ministry of Urban Renewal and Public Works had awarded over $9 billion in infrastructure contracts across 5 years, road networks, bridges, and water supply systems. But when the Public Accounts Committee requested a routine reconciliation report, half of the supporting documentation was missing. The ministry claimed everything was in order, yet a confidential whistleblower letter reached the National Anti-Corruption Task Force, NACDF, alleging that billions have been siphoned through ghost contractors and phony consultancy payments. That's when Elena Brooks, a senior forensic auditor known for her precision and courage, was appointed to lead a discreet investigation. Elena had built a reputation for exposing complex fraud schemes. She'd seen everything from offshore tax havens to digital falsification. But this case was different. The client was the government itself. You'll have access to everything, her superior said, but tread carefully. This one goes above pay grades. The first ledger. Elena began by analyzing Project Falcon, a $1.2 billion road expansion supposedly completed 2 years earlier. The books showed full disbursement, contractor sign-off, and ministry approval. But when her team visited the project site in person, they found half-built roads, abandoned machinery, and empty fuel depots. Worse, the contractor listed, Haven Bridge Consortium Limited, had no tax registration, no employees, and shared its office address with a laundry shop downtown. Tracing the payment trail revealed that funds had been moved through 4 layers of subcontractors, then diverted into personal offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands. The account holder? A senior procurement officer in the ministry. Elena documented everything. Transaction timestamps, account numbers, authorization memos, and built a chain of custody. But the deeper she dug, the more inconsistencies she found. The signatures approving disbursements were often identical, even when dated a month apart. That meant one thing: forged approvals. The ghost consultants. Over the next 6 weeks, Elena's forensic team uncovered a pattern. Payments were routed to consultants supposedly hired to provide advisory services for infrastructure oversight. Dozens of invoices bore identical language, the same formatting, even the same grammatical errors. A forensic document analysis confirmed it. All the invoices were generated from the same computer. Each payment, though small enough to evade scrutiny individually, added up to $4.2 billion over 4 fiscal years. The auditors traced the origin of those consultants and discovered that 4 of the shell companies were owned by relatives of a powerful figure. Minister of Urban Renewal, Honorable Raymond K. Dubé. Political pressure. When Elena submitted her interim findings to NACDF, she expected reinforcement. Instead, she received a thinly veiled warning. "You've done well," the deputy director told her quietly. "But you need to understand, some stones are meant to be turned." The next day, her apartment door was forced open. Nothing was stolen, except her laptop and 2 external drives containing preliminary reports. Elena reported the incident. The police promised to investigate, but days later, she noticed 2 unmarked cars parked outside her building. Always the same cars, always the same men inside. Her phone started receiving anonymous calls at night. A whispering voice would say, "Auditors disappear too." The chain reaction. Despite the threats, Elena refused to stop. She built a parallel audit trail, storing data securely with encrypted cloud backups and trusted colleagues abroad. Her investigation led her to a financial firm called Helios Advisory Group, which had handled consultancy settlements for multiple ministries. Helios appeared legitimate, registered, licensed, compliant. But when Elena subpoenaed their internal ledgers, something jumped out. A recurring debit reference titled M-File 47. She cross-referenced the code with Treasury disbursement records and found that M-File 47 corresponded to Ministerial Directive 47/URP Infra, signed personally by Minister Dubé. That directive authorized emergency disbursements to expedite infrastructure development in line with national interests. Except there was no national emergency and no completed projects. They turned national policy into a laundering tool, Elena murmured, staring at the evidence on her screen. The leak. 2 days later, an anonymous news outlet broke a story. Government auditor accused of leaking classified information. The report named Elena directly, alleging that she compromised national security by sharing financial data with foreign agencies. The attack was swift and coordinated. Her credentials revoked, her integrity questioned, and her access frozen. She realized the leak came from inside NACDF. Someone was protecting the minister. Still, the truth was out there. Elena decided to go public, but not through the media, through the courts. She compiled a 600-page forensic dossier. Payment trail breakdowns, forgery analyses, contractual cross-links, beneficiary bank statements. She encrypted and submitted the full dossier directly to the Office of the Attorney General, bypassing the usual chain of command. It was a dangerous move, but one that changed everything. The counterattack. Days later, her car was rammed off the highway on her way home. She survived with minor injuries, but the message was clear. When she returned to her apartment, she found it burned to ashes. Electrical fault. Officials said. By then, Elena had moved the master audit files off-site, but she was running out of allies. "If the law can't protect me," she said in a recorded statement, "then maybe the truth will." That statement leaked, intentionally. Within 48 hours, international pressure mounted. The World Financial Accountability Network, WFAN, an independent oversight body, opened a parallel investigation. Under public scrutiny, the government reluctantly suspended Minister Dubé pending inquiry. The trial. The courtroom was packed. For the first time, a sitting minister faced forensic evidence linking him to multi-billion-dollar theft. Elena's testimony was surgical. She presented transaction trails, metadata analysis, and even digital fingerprints from a forgery software used to replicate signatures. Each document spoke louder than any accusation. Each spreadsheet told a story of greed dressed as governance. The defense argued that Elena was a foreign agent, but her composure and data integrity dismantled every lie. The court admitted 23 exhibits of forensic evidence, authenticated by 3 international auditors. When the verdict came, silence filled the courtroom. The court finds the defendant guilty on all counts of fraud, embezzlement, and abuse of public office. Minister Dubé received 37 years imprisonment. Several top officials resigned within weeks. Aftermath. Elena declined interviews, turning down fame and reward. She quietly left the public eye and took a fellowship teaching forensic audit ethics at a university overseas. When asked why she risked everything, her answer was simple. Numbers don't lie, but sometimes people build walls so high, truth can't climb over. My job was to break the walls. Her case reshaped national anti-corruption laws. Forensic audits became mandatory for all government projects above $50 million. And for the first time in years, the public saw accountability not as a dream, but as a possibility. Moral and call to action. Every signature, every ledger entry, every transfer tells a story. Corruption thrives not because it is invisible, but because too many choose not to see. Elena Brooks' story reminds us that courage in accounting is not about numbers. It's about conscience. To every auditor, civil servant, and citizen, don't look away, because silence is the most expensive fraud of all.